Good afternoon, everyone. So we're back out here at part 2. Welcome back. So this is going to be our session on our Trailblazer SS build, while we're also doing the LS2 versus the LS3. Now, what we have here is a simple drawing of what we have done so far in the past several days on the 243 heads. The 243 heads is a cathedral port style LS cylinder head with 64 cc's on the combustion chamber. Usually found, as we said before, on the LS2, the LS6, some of the 5.3s, also the 4.8s. And we're looking at as far as the max lift. So, us comparing the LS2 to the LS3, we're going to be using that same camshaft, stage 3 camshaft they're explaining about for head cam combo on LS3, which is a 231 intake, 246 exhaust at 50 thousandths with a 640 thousandths inch lift and a 615 inch exhaust lift. So our intake is going to come up at 640 thousandths. Our exhaust is going to be lifted at 615 thousandths. And how long the duration the valve is going to stay open is at 231 degrees of a rotation at dead center for our crankshaft, and 246 degrees on the exhaust. On exhaust, how long the exhaust valve will open up. So, we're looking at the comparisons and the differences. So, on the LS3 heads, they're going to be able to go no more than 650 thousandths of a lift on their stock cylinder heads. While on the LS2, before they make piston to valve clearance issues, is actually, believe it or not, at 700 thousandths of a lift before it hits the flat dead center at the piston. So, without any issues, we can easily, without doing some exact measurements, we can safely use a 660 thousandths inch lift before we go to the piston to valve clearance issues for our intake and exhaust. So, that gives us some leadway. So, before we hit flat dead center 700 thousandths, without checking our valve clearance at 660 thousandths, our cam lift on the exhaust and the intake is going to be 640 thousandths. So what does that mean? Well, we're going to be left over from that 640 thousandths inch lift is 60 thousandths of an inch left over before piston to valve clearance. Now, what we're going to be doing, as far as like we did our port job for the intake and exhaust ports, and for our intake bowls and exhaust bowls, and polishing the combustion chambers to get the maximum airflow with a 3-angle valve job, is what we did today was actually mill the cylinder heads. As we said before, when you mill the cylinder heads, the purpose was to have a smooth, flat surface to give a full compressed seal on the cylinder heads to the engine block. But what we're doing is what we did on the cylinder heads is mill the cylinder heads, okay, to get a higher compression ratio, because we're going to be using a smaller, just dropping the cc's here. So I found out after I did my calculations, I looked after how many cc's will drop, or how much of the mill we did on the cylinder heads. So for 5 thousandths of a lift, you'll get 1 cc off of your combustion chamber. What we're going to be doing is, or what we did do, is a 40 thousandths inch lift. 5 times 40 is 8. So we end up dropping 8 cc's off our combustion chamber. So now our cylinder head is now at 64 cc's. It's actually at 56 cc's. And that compression ratio, after giving that mill, so I'm gonna go find this real quick. So after we take off some volume off the cylinder head, they got a smaller combustion chamber. We had a 66 cc. So when I did my mathematics on our graph, with a 364 cubic inch displacement, we have a 4-inch bore, a 3.622 inch stroke, with flat top pistons, it actually brings our compression ratio to a 0.38 to 1 compression ratio. And realistically, we round out to the basic number. Now we have a 12.4 to 1 compression ratio. So what does that mean? So we have a 12.4 to compression ratio, and original compression ratio is at 10.9 to 1 on our LS2. In comparison of doing the division, it's going to improve by 13.76%. So that means the 400 horsepower off the stock, right off the bat on this LS2, we're going to gain by 13.76%. In return, it'll give about 445 horses just stock, just slapping that onto the LS2. Comparing to also the camshaft, importing the cylinder heads, and the other modifications, headers and such, bolt-ons, is going to improve by that percentage off what's expected of a stock LS2. So that's going to be the part 2, guys, of what we did on the cylinder heads. Tune in for part 3. Like I said, follow us on Instagram, King_Castro_forever. Follow us on Facebook, Castro Motorsports SS. And also follow us on YouTube, Castro Motorsports 4611. And as we can go forward, check out part 3. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. We really appreciate it because not only we're going to be doing the LS2 versus the LS3 build, we're also going to be showing like know-hows you can do, because what we're expected for in theory on this LS2, we should be making around 650 to the crank, which is about like 550 to 580 to the wheels. So in theory, it looks like more likely chance this LS2 is going to make more than the LS3 head cam combo will make compared to this LS2 with a head cam combo. So thanks for watching, guys. My name is Rafael Castro. Tune in for more.